I'm a 25-year-old woman, and my nephew is 20. This all unfolded a few weeks ago, but let me provide some context. My nephew and I essentially grew up together, and I took care of him for most of my childhood and teenage years. Despite the 5-year age gap, I always felt responsible for him. Regrettably, he had a tendency to take my belongings without permission, often returning them damaged. Strangely, I ended up bearing the brunt of the blame instead of him. Given his challenging upbringing, I felt compelled to let him have his way, which I resented but accepted as part of my role as the elder sibling. Now, fast forward to the present. I currently reside in an apartment and find myself in need of financial assistance with rent. My nephew proposed the idea of moving in with me and contributing towards the rent, which initially seemed like a practical solution since his college was conveniently close to my place. However, over time, he began neglecting his share of the rent, citing antiquated notions that as his aunt and elder, I should shoulder all financial responsibilities. Naturally, this frustrated me, especially considering the efforts I had put into raising him during my own teenage years. To exacerbate matters, I discovered that he had been engaging in illicit activities and even pilfering money from my room. His unwillingness to contribute financially, coupled with his deceitful behavior, placed me in a precarious financial situation. Despite bringing the matter to the attention of our respective mothers, their response was disappointingly dismissive, urging me to continue supporting him financially due to our familial ties. However, given my own financial constraints, I refused to acquiesce to their demands. Instead, I insisted that he secure employment or seek alternative living arrangements. In response, he brazenly threatened to evict me from my own apartment, a threat I could not tolerate. Consequently, I made the difficult decision to evict him, swiftly discarding his belongings and forbidding him from returning. Understandably, my actions have incurred the wrath of certain family members who deem me in the wrong. However, I firmly stand by my decision. This experience has been profoundly challenging, especially considering the emotional investment I've made in my nephew's well-being over the years. Yet, I am determined to prioritize my own financial stability and self-respect. Moving forward, I recognize the need to establish firmer boundaries within my family dynamic, even if it means facing temporary estrangement from certain relatives. We want to stay after the 8-month sublet. It's a fairly good price near work, so I'm happy. We went through the credit check, and we were about to sign it, but recently I discovered that my boyfriend had bought another car. He already has a daily driver but wants a weekend car, which I personally find ridiculous. Why does anyone need 2 cars? He has a Honda Accord that is fine, and he's never complained about problems with it. But he recently said he bought another car. He isn't the best with money. He really likes to spend until the last dollar and has no savings. I've had to bail him out twice on rent. We both pay around $1,100 plus utilities, and he makes around $70,000 a year, so he should have savings, but he doesn't. He paid me back, but it was months later than we agreed on, so I really wasn't happy that he did that. But I didn't realize he bought such an expensive car. He didn't show it to me until Saturday when he picked me up in a Corvette. I don't know what model it is, but I asked him how much it was, and he said it wasn't my business. I was angry he bought a clearly expensive car. He admitted later, because I refused to let it go. It was $42,000, and he traded in the Honda. Even then, his payments were almost $800 a month. I was so mad he did that, especially because he asked me to cover part of his share of the apartment's security deposit a week before he bought the car. I called my friend, apologized, and told her I couldn't sign the lease, and she said she was okay with it. Thankfully, I haven't paid the deposit yet, and my roommate is okay with me staying, so I'm good. But my boyfriend's lease is ending, and the landlord wants him out, so he's mad at me for canceling our moving in together because now he still needs to move, and will probably be paying more than if we moved together. He's yelling at me for butting in on his business, saying it's not my business what he buys. I think that's fair, but he also has no money and bought an expensive car, so if anything goes wrong, I have to pay his share of the rent. So am I the idiot for canceling our apartment signing? He hasn't paid you back for the times you've had to cover his rent, but it's not your business that he bought himself a Corvette. Why keep dating this man you clearly can't trust? You are the idiot to yourself if you stay with him. He clearly cannot be trusted with finances. So why would you want to progress to a point of cohabitation? Finances are a shared business when you cohabit as a couple, and while you don't need to sign off on every purchase of his, you definitely need to know if he's planning to leave you to carry all the financial burden. Ah, you've got your answer. This guy is a huge financial liability. Stay with him if you want, but know what you're getting into. My sister, 29, and I, female, 23, don't have the same mother. My mom has always been quite obsessed with beauty, hers and mine. She started taking me to beauty contests when I was 4. I've been in those contests all my life, and I've won some. I was and still am a model. My sister and I are not alike, not only physically but also in personality. She's always been shy and focused on hobbies like reading, writing, and painting. She graduated from med school and is very smart, while I only finished high school. I believe we always had a good relationship, and there wasn't any jealousy. It was our dad's birthday, so we had a small family party for him, my mom, our dad, my 2 younger brothers, and us. There was quite some stuff that she didn't like. First, I had to eat something different than what they were going to eat because I was on a diet. She didn't like that and said I could suck it up for one night. Then we talked about a beauty contest my mom wanted me to participate in. My sister said that I'm too old for that crap. Even when we were talking about my ex-boyfriend, she told me that it wouldn't be hard for me to find another sucker who puts up with my princess behavior. What really set me off was after dinner while seeing Happy Birthday to our dad. I opened Instagram to post some photos of him and us. I saw a post from one of my friends who's graduating college this summer. I commented on it to my family and said that I'm very proud of my friends. I'm attending her graduation. She said it's nice to be proud of an achievement like that. Not that you would know it since you only have your looks to be proud of. That was the last straw for me. She'd been saying mean things to me all night, and then she just called me stupid and made it seem like I was such an unworthy person. I started crying, and my mom got furious at her. She asked her what her problem was and told her to stop being a witch. My sister told me to stop being dramatic and acting like a princess, to behave like a grown-up. She doubled down, saying that almost all of my friends are getting degrees and I'm playing Barbie. I was crying, but I still told her that she was being an idiot. She told me I'd been an idiot her whole life, so I should be the one to suck it up for once. Our dad and mom finally had enough, and they kicked her out. But she sent me a war of text messages telling me how I suck, how I'm so vain, how she's had to put up with being the ugly sister all her life, and how I'm always stealing attention from her. She even said something about a problem we had years ago with one of her ex-boyfriends. She told me that I messed up our dad's birthday dinner by being unable to take a joke. Which maybe she's right. Do you think I was wrong here? Should I try to do something? She once said that I'm the one to blame for her parents' divorce, but besides that, I don't think there's been wrong with our relationship. They started dating before he was divorced from his first wife, but he and my sister's mom were not together by then. Our moms didn't get along, but at least my mom never said many negative things about her mom when I was there. Also, her ex-boyfriend apparently told her he'd date me instead of her if I was older, but I was a teen back then. Everyone's the idiot here. It sounds like you're the golden child and don't want to admit it. You left out what happened years ago with one of her ex-boyfriends, assuming that was supposed to be her ex-boyfriend. It's pretty telling that you know you did something wrong and didn't want to admit it. Also, you don't explain how your food choices affected everyone else in such a manner for her to notice what you were eating, but again, it seems that was intentional. You're both too old to act like 4-year-olds. Though Opie said that her boyfriend told her sister that she'd rather date Opie than her. How is that Opie peaceful, by the way? She was a minor at the time. Not the idiot. And of course, she blamed you for comments her sleazy ex made. It's not your fault he's a jerk, and it's certainly not your fault she's the ugly sister. It sounds like your sister has harbored serious resentment for a long time, and you've been living in blissful ignorance. She sounds like she's really smart, accomplished, and successful, but she's holding on to the fact that you're prettier and got more of your dad's attention. The dad's attention thing isn't your fault. She's pushing that resentment upon you instead of directing it where it belongs, your dad. Her feeling that way is his failure as a parent. My ex, male 27, and I, female 24, broke up over a year ago, but we have a toddler baby girl together, so we're still close and have a good relationship. Well, there's not much else to say. He's dating someone new, female 27. It was her birthday yesterday, and my ex invited our baby and me since it was in his backyard. He asked his family as well, so I was mostly chatting with them. My daughter was playing with her cousins and some other kids from his girlfriend's side of the family. It was pretty okay, really. He was playing music, and the kids were dancing and playing. My daughter and one of her cousins came up to where we were sitting and asked to dance too. I went to dance with them, and then my daughter called her father, and we started dancing with her. We weren't at it for too much. We were dancing, and so were the kids and other adults, but his girlfriend got angry and called the party off. She then personally attacked me, telling me stuff like why I left him if I'm not over my ex and that I'm an attention-seeking nasty girl, that she knew I'd act like that when her boyfriend told her. I was coming a lot of stuff, and it caused a family fight too. She and her family left, so it was just us. My ex and his family were quite upset. After his family left, my ex and I talked more calmly, and he said he was disappointed in his girlfriend's reaction. So, well, some people see as I was looking for this kind of reaction when I went to the party, but I wasn't. I was invited, and I went. I think it's so important to have a close relationship with my daughter's father. What would be the alternative? Her having to see us fight all the time. But I don't know. Maybe I'm off. Your ex invited you and your daughter to his new girlfriend's birthday party instead of just inviting your daughter without actually consulting his girlfriend? He told her, didn't ask her, and you're all shocked at the fallout. Everyone's the idiot here for thinking it was okay to do this. I'm sure he invited up so he wouldn't be responsible for watching his daughter. Even if he handed her over to his mom or other relative, he would ultimately be in charge of the little girl. This way, he could pay attention to the girlfriend and the party. It almost makes sense, but how it worked out isn't surprising. Ah, you are not the idiot. This woman is potentially your daughter's stepmother. She needs to be okay with you. She overreacted, but it's her party, and she can cry if she wants to. Well, it doesn't matter anymore because they broke up. So I guess I won't even have the chance to apologize to my daughter's potential stepmother. By the way, I didn't crash at her party. I was invited like everyone else there. If I'd been asked to drop my baby off, I would have done it. But that's not what I was asked. My friend Janie and I are in the same senior English class. Janie is very smart, and when our semester ended a few weeks ago, we found out that she was the valedictorian of our class. My best friend Sophie was second, so she was slightly disappointed. We have vocab tests every other Friday with 40 words on them in English. They're usually very hard, and Janie always gets the highest score in the class. Last Thursday, my computer was dead, so I borrowed Janie's to turn in an assignment. When she gave it to me, it was open to a site with vocab questions. I wasn't sure what it was, but I took a picture of it. Last Friday, when we took the test, I noticed that I recognized a couple of the questions. I found the picture I'd taken, went to the URL, and found all the questions from the test. Going back through all the tests, all the questions were there. I emailed my picture to our English teacher and let him know my concerns that Janie was cheating. He had a meeting with her on Monday, and she's angry at me because they're looking at giving her an academic integrity warning, which may invalidate her from being valedictorian. She told all our friends what I did, and they all sided with her because she said what she was doing was technically not cheating. I've been ostracized from school, except for by Sophie, who is still talking to me. Am I the idiot for reporting her cheating? Huge. You are the idiot, babe. Homagirl was literally studying. Looking up the vocabulary words is not cheating. Using a test your teacher got online and not even bothering to change to study is not cheating. I don't know anyone else who hasn't looked up vocab before the test or used Quizlet, etc. Utilizing resources the way Janie does shows a much better work ethic and sense of initiative than doing nothing. No one stopped you or your friend from studying. Maybe if you took notes and followed her lead, homie would have earned valedictorian without your malicious intent and actions. To be quite honest, you seem like a petty loser. She was nice and let you use her laptop, And your first thought was, let me dime out the person who was nice to me. Sorry to break it to you, but this will follow you everywhere you go. No one likes a narc, especially ones who dime out on their friends. Yeah, I'm confused about why she was snooping in the first place. Seems like she asked to use the girl's computer on purpose. Honestly, girl, you sabotaged a friend and acted like you didn't. So you saw that on her screen, didn't know what it was, and thought, I'll take a picture of that. Girl, you knew what you were doing. This is jealousy at its finest. Your second place friend is the only one you'll have after the cheater parents get involved, and they will. The teacher's laziness is exposed, and the cheater is vindicated and ends up back in the first place.